Our guest tonight played 177 games for the Collingwood Football Club between 2013 and 2022, kicking 60 goals, earning a Rising Star nomination, taking home 2 Copeland trophies and 2 All-Australian jackets along the way. This year, he'll be a huge part of the Demons' new fearsome ruck combination, partnering up with big 𝗟𝗟𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. Welcome to the Demonland podcast, Brodie Grundy.
Thanks, guys. Great to be on the podcast.
Brodie, in addition to welcoming you to the podcast, a very big welcome to the Melbourne Football Club family, and more importantly, a massive heartfelt welcome to the Demonland.com family in your official capacity as our sponsored player for this season and beyond.
Huge. It's good to be. It's good to be on. I'm feeling the love early, and really looking forward to meeting all the fans throughout the year.
Oh, excellent. Brodie, it was obviously bitterly disappointing for you personally to part ways with Collingwood after a decade of service with the club, and I'm sure you expected to play out your career with the Magpies. Fortunately for us Demon fans, when one door closes, another door opens, and you now have the opportunity to add to your footy legacy with a new club. Have you set yourself any goals or benchmarks that you want to achieve this year with the Ds?
A few premierships would be a good start. What do you reckon?
Oh, mate, I'm not going to complain about that.
No, I haven't at the moment, mate. It's been just a really exciting period, actually. Since the trade, it's been nothing but excitement and eagerness. As soon as I walked in the door at Melbourne, I've just been super impressed with the way the football program's run and the club vision and the values of the football club. So I can't speak highly enough of the way that it's run internally. So all the Demons fans out there should be really proud about the way that the team's conducting themselves internally. And for someone that has just come in with fresh eyes, I can't speak highly enough of it. And I've just been early days just really enjoying it and immersing myself in it. I haven't thought too deeply about goals as such, besides the obvious team success.
Well, it's good to hear that positive stuff about the Ds. Coming over from the Magpies, just being down from the road from the Demons, have you noticed any big differences that you've experienced over your short time at the club during the pre-season than your time with the Pies?
I'd just say we do a lot of kicking, a lot of goal kicking. Something that I hadn't been exposed to is the amount of craft work that we do on our skills, in particular our field and goal kicking. So that's one that stands out. And second to that would be the training standards. Just in everything that we do is to a really high standard, attention to detail, and our high performance manager Selwyn has been really pivotal in setting those standards, and the players certainly enjoy his pre-season running, that's for sure.
Well, I'm sure you must have enjoyed the 30-minute running after the Saints game in the heat that day. That would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, look, running hasn't traditionally been a massive strength of mine, so it's been good. It's been good to keep me honest, mate, and come across, and I'm sort of starting fresh in many respects. Feels like I'm an 18-year-old draftee just coming in and learning the ropes for the first time, and it's been good.
For Simon Goodwin, a focus on a strong defence underpins his coaching philosophy and game style. Everything starts with our ability to make it hard for oppositions to score with a strong defensive system down back, with the wings and the half-forward flankers all getting back to help out, sort of an all-team defence. And whilst no doubt, Pies coach Craig McRae had a strong focus on defence, his coaching philosophy seemed to be more offensive with more spread and the ball in motion. And whilst it does appear that the Ds will be a bit more aggressive with our ball movement this season, with more direct ball movement, more kicks into the corridor and the top of the goal square, Goody has always emphasised defence is still a thing that underpins our game. Have you had to adjust the way that you play given these differences in coaching philosophies? And if so, has that been difficult for you?
The short answer is no. I like to think that I can adapt to different game styles and the trends in the game. Teams generally do that anyway each year. it wasn't really too different Collingwood in terms of focus on defence. I think it's pretty, it's just, as you said, sort of underpins most teams, but the offensive style can be pretty different. And I think, you know, coming across to Melbourne this year, you know, the offense is, it's going to challenge some teams. And, I think Collingwood was pretty bold, but Melbourne are certainly, having a crack as well. You mentioned sort of the aggressive kicks and taking the game on. So, it's going to be interesting. I think fans will enjoy it as well. It's going to be a good brand of footy to come and watch live, I reckon.
Yeah, I've liked what I've seen so far. The Magpies have had the wood over the D's in the past couple of years, probably over the decade that you were at the Pies, and granted, most of the time the D's were pretty uncompetitive, but more recently the Pies were the only team that the D's didn't defeat in our premiership season, and last year the Pies beat us both times that we played each other. Why is it that the Pies have had the wood over us recently? What was their game plan to defeat the D's, and have you brought over any of that intellectual property?
Absolutely, I have brought over some intellectual property. It's been interesting. You know, it's for a large part, as you alluded to. You know, pretty much undefeated. You know, game-winning streaks. 10, 11 game-winning streaks. So for a large part, what we do really stacks up. But there's always going to be one or two teams that challenge outfits, and I think for Collingwood, just had really good, I suppose, balance around the ball. Melbourne is really known to be a really strong contest side and like to outnumber around the ball. So I think if we can have a bit more, you know, when I say we, Melbourne, have a bit more balance around the stoppage, we can sort of buffer the pressure on the inside and have numbers to support if we do turn the ball over. So I think, but I've already noticed that that's sort of on the radar in terms of how the coaches are seeing the game, and like they watch so much tape, so they know better than me how to combat that stuff, for sure.
You're going to have to face your old club on King's birthday. You've no doubt still got a lot of good mates there, and whilst ultimately it wasn't your decision to leave, and from what I gather, Pies fans were devastated. They've been very supportive. But I imagine that once the ball is bounced in anger, and, you know, footy does ignite the passions in all of us. So is there any trepidation about the reception that you might receive either from the crowd or your former teammates, or will this just be another match for you?
No, I haven't thought about that too deeply in terms of the reception. It's probably largely out of my control, and I'm just looking forward to contributing really positively this year for Melbourne and their fans. And if we can get a win on that day, that would make my life easier. But I think, you know, I try not to project too much in terms of, you know, the narrative being spun out there and, you know, trying to please everyone. If you do that, then you largely spend a lot of your time unhappy. So I'm just trying to focus on, you know, what I need to do and contribute to, you know, my new teammates and my new club. And as long as they're supportive and they're happy, then that's the priority for me.
Prior to joining the D's, you met with Goody, Richo and Max as we sought a replacement for Luke Jackson. How was the pairing with Max sold to you? Was there any apprehension about whether it could work, or were you all in on the concept from the get-go?
I think naturally there was a little bit of question marks, as you know, I think, which is understandable. But when Max was in the room, I didn't actually know that he was going to be there. So that was a really strong showing of Max's faith, I guess, in terms of him wanting me to come to the club. And once I sort of got my head around it and actually looked at it from, you know, because it's easy to look at things from a pessimistic side or, you know, an ego side, but once you actually operate from a possibility side, or what if, or, you know, what could this look like, what could this be, it was quite limitless. So that was really exciting to me. And it will be a work in progress. There'll be times when we won't always get it right, but if we can make it count at the pointy end of the season, it's going to be super special, I hope.
Well, that sort of leads into my next question was, so far, we've seen you in 2 practice matches. D's fans are understandably ecstatic with what we've seen. First game, 35 hit-outs and 3 goals between you. Second game, 6 goals, 27 possessions, 11 marks between you. The pairing's obviously working so far, and is this the way you suspect it's going to work throughout the season, or is it going to be an evolving thing as we progress throughout the year?
Yeah, I think it will just be a week-by-week prospect and an evolving thing. And this has been Max's team for a long time, and I'm still learning the best way to go about it and continuing to gel with our midfield group. So there'll be weeks that the opposition might favour me, or the matchup might favour me, or the matchup might favour Max. And we're at a point in our career when we're just really focusing on what's best for the team, and ultimately putting the team first in those situations is going to be the best thing. And I knew that coming on board, so I'm prepared to sort of play my role and just leave it up to Simon and the match committee. So it's been I've enjoyed it, mate. Like it's honestly been something that I didn't think was going to happen, but once I got my head around it and thought about the prospects of what this could be, this team, this Melbourne outfit, I'd love to think that we can be super successful in the next sort of 3 to 4 or 5 years and win a few flags. Would be unbelievable to come across, and it would feel like it was all meant to be.
You're getting me excited for the season. Prior to coming to the D's, you and Max were rivals. Both of you were multiple All-Australians. You shared the All-Australian ruck honours together in 2018, 2019. What was your relationship like prior to coming to the D's? Did the rivalry ever get heated on the field? And how would you describe that relationship since joining the club?
The relationship was pretty chilled. Max is pretty relaxed and I'm pretty relaxed. And on field, we're obviously really competitive, but there wasn't really too much of a relationship as such. We only played each other a handful of times, really. So but since I've come across, it's been nothing but a bromance, mate. It's been really good. Got along really well. We've got lots of similarities. Both his wife and my partner are both physios. We've both got a border collie. We're both pretty tall. We play similar position. We both can grow a beard. It's we both like our wine and riding and traveling. So he's a pretty relatable person. So if you can't get along with Max, you're in trouble. So I've really been enjoying it thus far, and our chemistry on field is working initially as well. So so far so good.
It seems that this season, when you aren't rucking, you're going to be spending a significant amount of time resting, if you can call it that, in the forward line. And I keep hearing stuff like Brodie Grundy's not a forward, he's never played much as a forward, and your stats read that in your 10 years at the Magpies, you kicked 60 goals, 55 points in 177 games. That's 115 shots, 0.65 shots a game on average. You obviously didn't find yourself playing much in the forward line. Do you know what approximately your split was in time spent in the ruck, on the interchange and up forward?
Do I know what my time was? What for the game just gone, or what it will be?
At Collingwood, how much time did you spend forward as opposed to ruck? I mean, it was probably 95% of ruck.
I didn't really spend any time forward. To be fair, it was most of my shots were drifting forward as a ruckman. So those comments would be fair, and it's probably not hard to tell. I've spent 10 years playing as a ruckman. Doesn't mean that I can't mark and kick a footy. So it's not too abstract, really. And the ball comes in, you just really, it's like another ruck contest. The ball, the flight of the ball, you pick up the flight of the ball, it's coming in, position your body, and hopefully I can make it that simple, mate. But I suppose the expectation will be high, but I'm going to be patient with myself as well. I think I spent last year injured, new position, new team, really. So I'll be patient with myself, but it doesn't mean I'm not shooting for the stars, mate, at the same time. So it's about getting that balance right.
Well, having watched you closely on the weekend as you lined up for goal, I thought your technique was very good. It's highlighted by the career-high 3 goals that you kicked. In the past, were you a decent set shot kick for goal, or have you had to go through the 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘁𝗃 goal kicking academy?
He's got an academy, that's for sure.
Well, that's the nickname I've given it.
That's funny. Yeah, I think I've always been a fairly good set shot. Yeah, I'd like to think I can kick him okay. So yeah, don't hold that against me when I, if I miss a few round one. But no, you've got to back yourself in, and I think I'm generally a good kick.
Can I ask you, which demon or demons would you say have been most impressive on the training track this pre-season?
Let me think. 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘁𝗲 was really impressive early. He's only a young lad and showing some really good signs. But having said that, an older version in Ben Brown, the last month, his form's been off the charts. He's been taking hangers and clunks at training week after week, kicking bags of goals in our intra clubs and kicking goals at in our practice matches. So he's been training extremely well. Jack Viney, his standards of training are really high. Unfortunately, hurt his knee the other week, but there are a few that have come to mind early.
You were blessed with a pretty talented group of mids at the Pies over the years, and you're pretty blessed with another group of very talented mids at the Demons in Track, Clary and Vines. Who are you most excited to ruck to this year?
Clayton Alder's a good player, isn't he? So
Yes.
he makes you look good. It's sort of like, remembers when I was 18, 19, rucking to Dane Swan, you'd just sort of, which is just to say you've played with someone like Dane Swan's pretty special. So, you just put the ball in their area and they just do the rest, mate. They just make you look good. So, everybody's got their own unique talents. Like Jack's obviously super tough and competitive around the ball. Clary's obviously great touch, great hands, great clearance player, and Track's got that explosive breaking the lines class with his ball use. So, mate, I'm just blessed to be in the mix, to be able to contribute alongside these guys and this team. It's going to be really exciting.
And just one final one for you. There are 2 young rookie ruckmen at the club in Will Varell and 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘁𝗃 who are in the very fortunate position to be training under the feet of perhaps 2 of the greatest ruckmen in the AFL over the last 5-6 years, and as well as being under the tutelage of Greg Stafford. How do you rate their progress from the limited time that you've seen?
They're both coming along really well. Will's had an interrupted start with a sore shoulder and some injuries, a groin problem. But he's coming along really well. He's developing really nicely. He's got a real sort of competitive follow-up spirit in the way that he plays. And Kaya has been training the whole way through, basketball background. And he's picked up the game really well, actually. He's come along really quickly and progressing really nicely. So looking forward to contributing to their career in any way that we can. And as senior players for me and Max, it brings a great joy to be able to contribute and pass on a few tips and tricks. Not too many. Don't want it to become too good too quickly. They certainly are keeping us honest. So it's been it's been really pleasing to see their development.
It's good to hear. Well, Brodie, thank you so much for giving us your time today on the Demonland podcast. We really do appreciate it. And as your player sponsor, we're rapt to have you on board and hope that we can check in with you again over the next few years to catch up, see how things are progressing. Best of luck for the season ahead. We can't wait to see you run out on the G in the red and blue next weekend. Thank you very much, Brodie Grundy.
Thank you very much, guys. Looking forward to the season and having an opportunity to meet all the members and fans and supporters throughout this year and the years to come.